Two families from Rajasthan used to live in London. One was a Rajasthani family, and the other was a Christian. Both families were settled there. They lived there, worked there, and ran their businesses there. The children of both families studied at same colleges and universities in New York. Among them was a girl named Ruhi and a boy from the other family named Rahul Patel. Both of them were studying pharmaceuticals at the same university. They studied medicine and pharmaceutical. This was back in 2009 during university. Rahul and Ruhi fell in love with each other. Both came from good families and were doing reasonably well. At first they dated for a while and got to know each other. During this time, Rahul gave Ruhi expensive gifts and took great care of her. He was very attentive, which made Ruhi very happy. She felt like she had found the ideal boyfriend. Eventually, they both decided to get married. Both of them talked to their families. Initially, the families were not ready, mainly because it was a Christian-Hindu wedding conducted fully with Hindu rituals. But seeing the bond between Ruhi and Rahul, and since Ruhi's sisters also knew that the boy was good and came from a good family, eventually everyone agreed. Finally, on July 9, 2009, the two of them got married. After the wedding, they started living in their own separate home in New York. Their studies had been completed. Rahul, who is in the pharmaceutical field, started his own pharmaceutical business, and Ruhi began working at a pharma company as well. Time passed gradually, but after the marriage, Ruhi started to feel that Rahul always kept a certain emotional distance from her. For a few days, she thought maybe he had some compulsion or something going on. But as time passed and a year went by after the wedding, he never came close to her. The kind of bond that usually exists between a husband and wife never formed between them. One day, Ruhi shared this with her sister. Her sister said, "Maybe there's some problem, but the guy seems nice, try to make it work somehow." Time kept passing, but after 2 years, even Rahul's behavior started to change. He began trying to completely control Ruhi. The person who used to be so caring suddenly changed. He started arguing, fighting, and emotionally torturing her over little things. Yet the two of them continued to stay together. Ruhi kept trying to save their relationship and home. As time went by, one day, Ruhi happened to look at Rahul's laptop. When she checked it, she found several dating apps related to gay relationships. She was shocked. As she looked deeper, she began to realize that maybe the distance between them was because Rahul is gay. Now it was as if a mountain had suddenly collapsed on her. But even then, when she finally began to talk about it, Rahul lashed out at her instead. Somehow, life was moving forward. During this time, Rahul started a pharmaceutical business with his share and bought a new house about 60 miles away from where they used to live. Both husband and wife moved there. After they shifted, guests frequently came and went. Among them was Dr. Karan, a friend of Rahul, who often visited their home and stayed for long hours. Karan and Rahul were around the same age. One day, Ruhi suddenly noticed that Rahul had left his phone at home, and he was inside the house in the bathroom. She picked up the phone and saw a text message. When she read it, she was shocked it was from Dr. Karan. The message contained things that are usually shared between a boy and a girl in love, expressing a desire to build a life together in that way. Ruhi was stunned. She started recalling how Karan would often visit their home, stay for long hours. The two of them would be in the same room, and yet he never sat with her. Whenever the phone rang, he would go to another room or up to the roof. He never talked on the phone in front of her. He had already seen the text messages and the dating app as well. All these things gradually added up, and soon terrible fights began between the two. During this time, very quietly, one day Rahul took out a $2 million insurance policy on Ruhi's name. After getting the insurance, he continued talking with Karan. The fights at home kept escalating, but in 2016, suddenly Dr. Karan got a job and moved to London. Now, when he went to London, both Rahul and Karan were very sad, just like a girlfriend and boyfriend parting ways. It was a time of separation, but he left. Now what happened was that they didn't get to meet anymore, but they would spend hours on the phone, constantly texting and calling. And Ruhi knew all of this. By now, almost 9 years had passed since their friendship started. It was 2018. Ruhi shared some things with her sisters, and they said, "Look, maybe some things will change. Do one thing nowadays, there are so many people in the world. Those who are unable to become parents, science has opened a path for them. IVF is one such method. Many people become parents through what is called a test tube baby. So through IVF, many women have been able to conceive. They explained to Ruhi that maybe her womb has remained empty until now. And since there's no child at home, Rahul has been wandering around, looking elsewhere. Maybe if a child comes into the house, he too might change. But how can that happen when there's never been a true husband-wife relationship between the two of them? Still, they told her that science has made a lot of progress, and many people have become parents through these advancements. They said to Ruhi that this is the one of the ways to get pregnant. You must have heard about it. Sometimes it's like a rented egg. Your embryo is first created in someone else's womb, meaning there are two ways to have a baby, internal and external. The external way is where you can implant the embryo into someone else's womb, and then the baby is born. IVF is a great and proper method for this. So Ruhi's family prepared her to become a mother through IVF. Ruhi also agreed. Then she made an appointment with a doctor at a clinic. She tried 3 attempts. All 3 attempts failed, and she started feeling more and more sad. It seemed like Rahul, her husband, was not supporting her. But Rahul always accompanied her whenever there was an IVF session or procedure. She was unaware of why he was going or what he was doing at that time. Whenever he went, he took great care. Finally, in the 4th attempt on May 9, 2018, the 4th IVF attempt was successful. The doctor said that 3 embryos had formed, and they were now placed in what's called a test tube baby procedure. And after 1 month, they will implant it into Ruhi's womb. After that, she will become pregnant, and then there will be delivery. So, Ruhi was very happy the first time, in May 2018. She thought, okay, through IVF, at least now my dream will be completed. Meanwhile, Rahul was also very happy. When the family found out about Ruhi, they were all happy too. On May 10th, Ruhi went to her home and met people. Everyone thought, all right, everything will be fine. But 4 days passed, and the date of May 14th arrived. On the evening of May 14th, around 7 p.m., Ruhi was returning home from her job at the pharmacy company she worked for. When she reached home, after that, no one heard from her. After a short while, Rahul reached home. When he arrived, he saw that Ruhi's hands, feet, and mouth were tied with duct tape, and she was bleeding all over her body. The entire house was ransacked and in disorder. Immediately after that, at 8:22 p.m., he called the police and said, "Some robbers came into my house, looted everything, and my wife is injured." The police team arrived right away, and Ruhi was taken to the hospital. But Ruhi died. Ruhi doesn't even get a chance to give any statement. Immediately, Ruhi's family arrives, and everyone comes there. After that, Rahul breaks down crying badly. Ruhi has 2 sisters, and her father and the sisters are consoling Rahul, putting their hands on his shoulders, trying to calm him down. But he is crying uncontrollably. The situation is that just 2 or 3 days ago, they were happy thinking they were going to become parents, and now this accident has happened. So the family gave him full support and tried to control him. The family had no suspicion at all. The house was a mess, with things scattered everywhere. Some money or other things were stolen, but the family didn't suspect anything. Then the police arrive and start investigating. Unlike the family, the police have to look at every case with suspicion. That's basic policing. So the police begin their investigation. The first thing they check is that there was no forced entry into the house, meaning no one was forced in or out. The second surprising thing they find is that no third person was seen coming or going in any of the CCTV cameras inside or outside the house. Now the police check Rahul's phone and question him. Rahul says, "I was at home that day. I had reached home around 7 p.m. Shortly after that, Ruhi came home and said she wanted to eat pizza. So I left for the pizza house. I went there, placed the order, and then texted Ruhi saying I was bringing her order." And he was telling the truth. He had texted her. At the same time, the police checked the CCTV footage from the pizza place, and he was indeed present there, collecting the pizza. But something strange was seen in the footage. The pizza, which usually gets delivered quickly, was delayed that day. In fact, the pizza was ready, but he wasn't picking it up. He wasn't heading home. Instead, he was just hanging around, chatting and wasting time. The police started wondering, who has that much free time? He already had the pizza, so normally he would head straight home to eat it. But here he was just killing time. That odd timing was the first thing that raised police suspicion. The CCTV footage also confirmed that apart from Rahul and Ruhi, No one else entered or exited that house. Now the police begin searching the house. While conducting the search, the police go to the upper floor. There they find a duct tape roll, some parts of which were torn. The police notice that the same type of duct tape was used to bind Ruhi's mouth and hands. This indicates that someone from inside the house was involved, because no one came in from outside. After reviewing all these things, the most important clue the police found was related to modern technology. Nowadays, everyone has mobile phones and health apps. Based on the timing, the police were able to track something important. The timing is that she arrived home around 7:02 p.m., and then he reached there after that. Then at 8:22 p.m., he calls the police. So in between all this, there's a gap of about 40 minutes. That means the police were informed 40 minutes later, and everything happened within those 40 minutes. So the police asked for the watch from Rahul specifically to understand what happened between 7:02 and 7:40. Now look at how even small things these days help in solving big crimes. From the watch, they check the health app. In that health app, your daily routine is recorded, like how much you walked, how long you ran, how many calories you burned. It shows all the details. It even gives you a weekly chart, and you can check everything by date. Most of you must have seen this. So the police opened the health app, checked the history, and looked at the data from May 14th, 2018, between 7 o'clock and 7:40. Suddenly they noticed that for around 10 minutes, the health app showed that his heart rate was very high, and he was going rapidly up and down the stairs. Because the app tracks your movement, whether you're running fast or slow, climbing stairs, how many steps you've taken, and so on. So the data showed that he was running up and down repeatedly inside the house. Now the question is, why would someone run like that inside the house? Either it was for exercise, but there's no such history of that in any of the past records. Only on that particular day, the day the murder happened, does the health app show that he was running for 10 out of those 40 minutes inside the house. Also, the duct tape and the items upstairs were all messed up. Everything was disturbed. The body was found downstairs, so he must have gone up and down several times. During this movement, all of his pulse, heart rate, and other vitals got recorded on his health app. When the police checked it, they found this data. Then on the third day after the murder took place on May 14th. And on May 17th, they reviewed the CCTV footage. There was no forced entry. No one came from outside. He wasted time at a pizza shop. But the biggest piece of evidence was the health app in those 10 minutes. Her heart rate was racing, indicating she was running or struggling. Based on this evidence, the police arrested Rahul for the murder of his own wife, Ruhi. When he was arrested and Ruhi's family found out, they couldn't believe it. They never imagined Rahul could do something like this. But now the question was, why did Rahul kill Ruhi? She was the one he fell in love with in college, the one he insisted on marrying. Years had passed. Sure, there were fights, but they still lived under the same roof. So what was the reason? Why marry her and then kill her? Then the story came out in court, and the reason was bizarre. There were two reasons. The first, something even more important to him than money. When Dr. Karen came into Rahul's life, the two of them made a decision. They both wanted to live together and start a family. Since they are both gay, they obviously couldn't have children naturally. But as you know, in many countries and elsewhere, same-sex marriages, man with man, woman with woman, are legally recognized. So both Dr. Karen and Rahul planned to live together. Since Dr. Karen had shifted to London, the plan was that they would spend the rest of their lives together in London. For that, two things were important. First, money. So Rahul took out a $2 million insurance policy. The beneficiary of that policy was him, after his wife Ruhi's death. Second, if they were to start a family, how would they have children? The idea of using IVF was first indirectly suggested by Rahul himself. He said, "Let's become parents through IVF." They went to a clinic, and after 3 failed attempts, the 4th one was successful. It succeeded on May 9th, and on May 10th, Ruhi was discharged and returned home. Just 4 days later, Rahul killed her. Now, what does IVF have to do with Ruhi's murder? The plan was that since the IVF had now succeeded, and the test tube baby was still in the tube not yet implanted after Ruhi's death, Rahul could proceed without her. 1 month later, the embryo was supposed to be implanted into Ruhi's womb. Now the question was, who would be the legal parent of that test tube baby or IVF embryo, Ruhi was no longer alive. Only Rahul remained. What would happen now would be decided by Rahul. Rahul and Karan had agreed that as soon as the IVF was successful and the date for implantation came about a month later, they would both leave. But Karan had no idea that Rahul would go to the extent of killing Ruhi for it. However, Rahul had it all planned in his mind. As soon as the IVF was successful, he murdered Ruhi for her £2 million insurance money so that he could live with Karan. His final plan was to take that embryo, that test tube baby, and move to London after selling everything he had here. There, he would live with Dr. Karan and have the embryo implanted in a surrogate woman. The child born from that would become their support, and through that child, Rahul and Dr. Karan planned to spend the rest of their lives together. There are all kinds of people in the world who think in strange ways. I want to ask you all, can someone really think like this? Such a level of planning, such a motive, such an intention. I had never heard of anything like this before. The human mind can really go to unimaginable places. So, this was today's story. Thank you for watching.